In celebrating the 50th anniversary of Ski to Sea, we take a look back at how it all got started. 52 teams competed in the first Ski to Sea relay on May 20th, 1973. The Tavern from Bellingham won the first place trophy and the prize kayak. Austrian skier Franz Gabel chaired the race, inspired by the 1911 Mount Baker Marathon. Gabel won the silver medal in downhill skiing at the 1948 Winter Olympics. In the 1960s, Franz became a local legend amid the Mount Baker ski community. He ran a popular ski shop offering outdoor sporting equipment and became director of the Mount Baker Ski School, training racers for competition. Every summer, the ski school hosted an excited group of aspiring racers. Gabel dedicated his days to ski racing and getting people into the mountains. In 1970, Gabel organized a dual slalom race for the Blossom Time Festival. 3 years later, that race evolved into a multi-sport relay for the festival. The first relay in 1973 consisted of 3 legs: ski, bicycle, and canoe. And so began the evolution of the Ski to Sea relay race. Racers from all over the region joined in on the fun, competing for top times. Franz Gabel's ambitions to grow the race were supported by the local community. But the relay legs weren't continuous yet, and timing was added up after the race. And the third leg ended on the Nooksack River, not at the sea. So a running leg was added in 1975, eventually connecting ski and bike legs. Followed by cross-country skiing in 1979 as the starting leg of the relay. And in 1980, a sailing leg finally brought the race to the sea. The new leg also brought colorful displays to the course. Spectators flocked to the shore to see racers sail across the bay. The race became an annual tradition for many in the region. Marine Park became the place to be for watching teams cross the finish. "116 teams came out for the debut of the sailing leg in 1980. Racers lucked out with a warm breeze sailing across the bay. Hot Times completed the course in 6 hours, 56 minutes, and 52 seconds, marking the first Ski to Sea race that actually finished on the sea. The 1980 race had grown to a 75-mile course with 6 legs. That year, both ski legs left simultaneously to start the race. The downhill skiers had to hike up the chute to Panorama Dome, while the cross-country skiers raced 2 miles up Austin Pass for the handoff. The first leg racers handed off with little left in the tank. The downhill course took a more technical route on North Face. Descending the mogul section took strength and stamina. Skiers passed off their medallions before the use of timing chips. The running leg was originally in Bellingham for its first 2 years, but it was moved to Mount Baker Highway to make the relay continuous. Most racers seem to agree it's an arduous 8 miles of downhill. The highway wasn't closed to traffic, so it was a bit dicey. This handoff has been in the same location for 46 years. The road bike leg distance has changed 8 times in 50 years. In 1973, it was just 22 miles, nearly half the current distance. Today's 42-mile route boasts big hills both up and down. The bikes of this era were simpler than today's tech, but classic 10-speed bikes are still used by some racers today. Alan Golden raced his 1956 Roadmaster 50-pound single-speed. The waters of the Nooksack River keep racers on their toes. In the 1980s, the canoe course extended to the river mouth, where sailors waited in the tidelands for the final handoff. The first year of the sailing leg enjoyed ideal winds and tides. On a windy day, the catamarans could outpace any kayak. But many a windless race led to the option of kayaking in 1990. The days of the sailing leg mark a special era in ski-to-sea history. But the progression of the relay required a more practical vessel. Sea kayaking replaced the sailing leg entirely in 1992. Mountain biking was added between the canoe and kayak legs. This leg, later named cyclocross, brought the relay to a 7-leg total. In 2004, snowboarding was added to the downhill ski leg. 20 years after the first race, Ski2Sea was the largest multi-sport relay in the US. The relay continued through the years, thanks to staff, volunteers, and sponsors. Today, the race has grown to 450 plus teams, with thousands of racers competing. Each year, 600 plus volunteers join in to organize and support the relay. every turn, our sponsors are there to provide funding and assistance. And every year at the finish line, our community gathers to celebrate. Thank you to all of our racers, sponsors, staff, and volunteers for making the race possible.